when the mind is still, life becomes clear. There is a profound truth that Buddhism reminds us of. Fear is not just a fleeting emotion, it is a seed. And your mind is the fertile soil. Whatever you plant there, whether worry, peace, or hope, has the potential to sprout and grow over time. The problem is, most of us don't realize what we're nurturing every day. We think fear is simply a natural feeling, but in reality, it is a lens that distorts our perception of reality. When you fear losing your job, you start behaving as if it's already happening. You become cautious, anxious, lose confidence, and gradually, bring yourself to exactly the situation you feared. In relationships, fear of abandonment makes you clingy, doubtful, and controlling, and that very energy pushes others away. It's not fate working against you, it's the silent control of inner fear. Buddhism teaches that the mind doesn't distinguish right from wrong, it simply nurtures whatever you focus on. You are the gardener, you choose the seeds that will grow. Instead of watering fear, redirect your attention to the present, to the truth, to what is actually happening now. Each time fear arises, pause, take a deep breath, and ask, is this thought helping me feel more peaceful, or just fueling panic? When you change your inner world, your outer world begins to shift too. Letting go of fear makes room for life to flow in. In today's world, we are often taught that strength lies in control over time, plans, emotions, and outcomes. The more control we exert, the more powerful and competent we are seen to be. But Buddhism offers a completely different perspective. True strength doesn't come from gripping tightly, but from knowing when to let go. It's not giving up, it's letting go of the illusion that we can control everything through sheer will. It is a deep trust in the natural flow of life, where everything is unfolding in its own way, at its own pace. Imagine trying to hold water in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through. But when you gently open your palm, the water stays. Life works the same way. The more you force it, the more it slips away. The more you relax, the easier it is to hold on to. Letting go is not weakness. In fact, it demands trust, courage, and deep mindfulness. You do your best, then step back and allow life to do the rest. That is the power of surrender. When you stop trying to control everything, magic begins to happen. Your mind clears, your energy returns, and opportunities, once hidden by anxiety, start to appear. Like a door opening, life begins to cooperate with you instead of resisting. In that surrender, you don't lose your power, you find it. Peace, clarity, and natural wisdom emerge when you trust that you don't need to control everything for things to go well. Worry is a subtle habit of the mind, always pulling us away from the present toward things that haven't happened. Each what if, maybe, or just in case thought is like a thin mist, powerful enough to obscure our inner peace. Buddhism emphasizes a simple yet profound truth: worry does not exist in the present moment. It only lives in imagined futures, scenarios the mind creates, filled with uncertainty. But reality is always quiet, complete, and often more peaceful than we expect. When you feel anxious, pause and ask, where is my mind right now? You'll realize it's rushing ahead, living in things that haven't happened. And in doing so, you miss the only place life actually exists, the now. This moment, this breath, this sensation, is where life fully resides. You are still breathing, still standing, and that, in itself, is miraculous. Mindfulness is the gentle art of returning to the now. Each time you pay attention to your breath, your footsteps, or the sound of birds outside, you weaken the grip of anxiety. Not because you solve the fear, but because you stop feeding it. In the present, there are no disasters to brace for, only stillness, presence, and the realization, I am okay. Peace is not something that waits in the future, nor does it come only after all problems are solved. It's always been here, hidden beneath the noise of the mind. All you need to do is return, and listen. We often carry on our shoulders fears that have never happened. Each day, the mind quietly constructs a web of what-ifs and maybes, keeping us in a state of chronic unease. We fear tough conversations, failure, losing loved ones, or that everything might collapse one day. But pause and ask yourself, how many of the things you feared actually came true? Most of the disasters in your head are simply stories, not reality. Buddhism calls this the illusion of the mind. Like an endless storyteller, the mind spins painful narratives, dark scenarios, and we believe them as if they were true. We lose sleep over an email not yet sent, tremble over a conversation not yet had, even cry over an ending that never happened. Yet, reality is usually much simpler. The conversation we feared turns out gentle. The task we dreaded goes smoothly. The storm in our mind never arrives. What's important is to realize, just because a thought appears doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not facts. They are clouds passing through the sky of awareness. When you stop, take a deep breath, and ask, is this really happening, or just my imagination? You're lifting a weight off your spirit. Freedom begins with that awareness. When you no longer live in imagined stories, you return to the present, where everything is gentler, clearer, and safer than you feared. There's a profound but difficult truth: the more we try to control life, the more we lose trust in it. Buddhism teaches that control and trust are opposite paths. You can't grip the steering wheel tightly and still believe the road will take you where you need to go. When afraid, we try to control everything: results, time, people, even what isn't ours to manage. But that need for control often stems from a hidden fear that if we don't do something, everything will fall apart. Yet have you ever asked, has control truly brought peace? Or has it left you more exhausted, tense, and constantly on guard? The tighter we hold, the more anxiety grows, because nothing ever seems to go just right. And in our effort to control, we forget a truth: life has its own intelligence. The sun rises without your command. Trees grow without your supervision. Life knows how to operate. The question is, do you have enough trust to let go? Buddhism calls this letting go of attachment, meaning you act with full heart, but do not tie yourself to the outcome. You plant seeds, water them, tend to them, and then trust that nature will handle the rest. Trust is not laziness, but the wisdom to step back and let things unfold in their own time, in their own way. Ask yourself, what are you gripping too tightly? A relationship? A goal? A secret fear? Maybe it's time to breathe deeply, relax your grip, and trust that life will carry you if you stop getting in the way. Much of human suffering doesn't come from circumstances, but from our refusal to accept them. A simple but powerful truth: what is, simply is. Yet the mind tends to resist reality. We want things to be different, want others to behave better, want no rain, want not to feel sadness, want life to be fair. This resistance is the birthplace of suffering. Buddhism calls this attachment to illusion. When we refuse to accept what is happening, we go to war within ourselves. The mind pulls us away from the present and starts to fight. Why me? This shouldn't be happening. I can't take it anymore. These thoughts don't change the situation, but they certainly weigh the heart down. Acceptance does not mean surrender or apathy. It's the courage to look reality in the eye and say, this is how things are. When you stop struggling in anger, regret, or resistance, you open the door to peace. Because in acceptance, the mind quiets. And when the mind quiets, suffering stills. Like a lake that stops rippling, you begin to see clearly. From that stillness, you can act with more wisdom, calmness, and compassion for yourself. You no longer drain your energy resisting life, you start flowing with it. Life may not always go the way we want, but it always goes the way it needs. When you stop resisting what is, you don't just find peace, you find yourself. All suffering originates from a common root: ignorance, a misunderstanding of life and of ourselves. When we don't see truth clearly, we get trapped in illusions the mind creates. We think happiness comes from wealth, status, being loved, or having life go exactly our way. Yet when we get it all, we still feel empty. Because those are shadows, not the true source of peace. Ignorance makes us cling to impermanent things, chase the external while forgetting the internal. We believe that if we control everything, we'll be safe. We think avoiding pain means we'll be peaceful. But that false belief is what causes pain. Because the world constantly changes. People will leave. Health will fade. Success will pass. And when things go wrong, the blind mind doesn't know how to cope. It only reacts with anger, sadness, escape, or blame. Buddhism doesn't promise a life without pain. But it shows that when you see clearly, pain loses its power. When the light of wisdom shines, you realize, nothing lasts forever, and the only thing you can do is be fully present in each moment. Ignorance is the fog that blinds us. Wisdom is the dawn that clears it. The journey out of suffering doesn't require running away, it requires turning inward, to honestly examine what you're believing, what you're clinging to, and whether you're ready to let go of illusions that no longer serve you. Ultimately, happiness does not come from controlling life, but from letting go, accepting, and living mindfully. Pain is inevitable, but how we meet it determines our freedom. When you stop resisting what is, when you no longer search for happiness outside but return inward to understand yourself, that is when the path of wisdom and peace truly begins. The Buddha taught, "Be a light unto yourself." No one can live your life or attain awakening for you. But if you're brave enough to look inward, peel back layers of delusion, and release misguided desires, you'll find an unshakable stillness. Not temporary calm, but the foundation of a mindful, free, and fulfilled life. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos.